every single day, and yet the administration responses who are urged to be careful about and telling them to humanitarian aid needs to come through. It's not coming through. Genocide is happening, and yet they live in a world of denial, and they think that we're going to believe the denial instead of what we see with our eyes. So that's how they're operating with the policy, but it's also how they're operating with the politics. These folks will come around. Like I said, it's insulting, it's demeaning, it doesn't respect people's real feelings, and the result is that they're
yeah, because that's how the demon Democrats always do. There's a lot of people like that. That's the demon Democrats.
I mean, when you talk about he's siloed off,
they don't give a fuck
he
about
really
your feelings
hardly
and what
is.
you feel.
Everywhere he goes, whether it was the AME Church in Charleston, people interrupting, demanding ceasefire, or yesterday, or the UAW announcement just a few days ago, where auto workers were holding up signs because UAW was one of the earliest to endorse a ceasefire. President Biden himself is certainly hearing this. And I wanted to go to a reporter questioning White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre Wednesday.
What you think, Israel is some land or some place that these people just was always there? Oh, no damn Israel there 400 years ago. That came in the 1930s when you invaded, created the Bible, and you created these people calling themselves Israelis and Jews. You stole from the Africans what they are to claim what you are.
International humanitarian law. So we will continue to have those conversations with
Jews
them.
are black.
At the same time,
the language of Hebrew is African. How did you get in your white Banera? You dumb motherfucker.
That was Karine Jean-Pierre's message to Michigan as President Biden went there, is that Israel has a right to defend itself.
Because they want Israel to stay there. It's a strategic position.
For President Biden?
It's in the bank of
for me, that question falls back to President Biden. What will he do to earn the trust and respect of the constituency that he's trying to represent? I was watching that press conference, and it really is a slap to the face. Every military expert and humanitarian expert across this globe has demonstrated that Israel is not abiding by any international law. That is why the International Court of Justice actually moved forward with South Africa's case, indicating that it's very plausible that what is unfolding in Israel, in Gaza, by the state of Israel, is a genocide, and upheld again by a federal judge here in the United States just this week, in which he dismissed a case of an organization tried suing President Biden, and in the judge's opinion, he said, I do believe it is very plausible that Israel is committing a genocide that is being supported and upheld and defended by these United States of America.
Mayor Hammoud, you have constituents whose families are in Gaza. What are they saying to you? And do you think the situation will be very different in, almost a year from now when the election takes place?
People feel betrayed. We were promised in 2020 a president who was going to bring back decency to the White House, who led with humanity. And what we've seen since October 7th is anything but. We've seen an alignment with Benjamin Netanyahu and the most right-wing government in Israel's history. And we cannot for the life of us understand why. Why, understanding that Trump being a threat to our American democracy, is that alignment with Benjamin Netanyahu worth the unraveling of the very fabric of our American democracy? And so that's how people are feeling right now.
I wanted to go to an Al Jazeera reporter, Fadi Mansour, who questioned Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in his first news conference since he was hospitalized about U.S. military support for Israel.
Back in December, in your speech at the Reagan Library, you told Israeli leaders they have to protect civilian lives in Gaza. Since that speech, 12,000 more Palestinians have been killed. We're now at 27,000 killed.
27,000.
Supporting this war when this government that is the most extreme in the history of Israel, led by someone who refuses to recognize any political right for the Palestinians, and with elements that are calling for ethnic cleansing and displacement of Palestinians. Palestinians have the right to dignity, as you said in Angola when I was with you on the trip. You said the future belongs to those who protect dignity, not trample it.
Yeah. I said that in the speech at the Reagan Forum. I've said that to my counterpart, Minister Gallant, every time that I talk to him, and I talk to him every week. And I emphasize the importance of protecting civilian lives. I also emphasize the importance of providing humanitarian assistance to the Palestinians.
So that's Lloyd Austin, Defense Secretary, being questioned by Al Jazeera. Jim Zogby, if you can talk about what you feel needs to happen right now and the people you're polling, you're talking to, what could make a difference?
At this point, in terms of electoral politics, I'm not sure that anything makes a real difference. The wound is too deep. The losses are too great.
The land because it's a strategic position. That's all to that.
Is real, and they're doing nothing to address it. But at least to have a conversation, they have to make some dramatic.
You and anybody that supports the genocide of the Palestinian people.
We had
They're dying right now every day. 27,000 Palestinians have been killed. 27,000 Palestinians have been killed.
Demands
human life being wasted by the fact of a government who wants to invade and control the region based on the strategic position.
Stopping it and then conditioning future aid.
So they're not fooling anyone. Netanyahu is a criminal.
Essential demands.
He's a bloody murderer.
They're not even asking us, and yet they want our vote. And so I think that you can get a conversation, which is an important thing moving forward. Any community needs a conversation with those in the White House.
Trump should not be aligning himself with Netanyahu.
There's a lot of hurt
because he knows well Israel is a thief.
A serial cheat coming home to his wife and saying, "This time I'm going to change." You got to show it. Even to have a conversation, you have to show it. And we're not seeing that from these guys now at all.
James Zogby, president of Arab American Institute. We will link to your article in The Nation. Biden's erasure of Arabs is part of a painful history I know well. And thanks so much to Dearborn Mayor Abdul Hamid. This is Democracy Now! Coming up,